It is always a good feeling beating the Brooklyn Nets. What's going on, everybody? Welcome to the post-game show for the Knicks versus the Nets. I am your host, Troy, and I appreciate you guys checking out the stream. Shout out to Knicks Nation, and of course, shout out to the chat gang as well, too. I see all of you guys, and I promise we're going to get to your comments a little bit later on into the show and get your take as well, too. Now, before we get started with the show, like we always do, as you guys know, we are on a goal here to get to 20,000 subscribers, and we could really use your support. If you enjoy content like this and you love daily Knick updates, please go ahead and hit that subscribe button because it could really support all of the great content that we're creating for you. But getting to tonight's game, what I loved about tonight's game was it did not come down to the wire. Like Friday night's game came down to the wire, where the Knicks had to make a big bucket and get a big block to win that game. This time around, we did not need to do that because we played defense, not for the entire 48 minutes. We will get to that, but we played defense. We passed the ball. We moved the ball. We moved ourselves, and good things happened. But more than anything else, one thing that you can credit this victory to was Wingstop. OG Anunoby went into demon time. He went off. He did whatever he wanted to do against the Nets. He was taking them apart and going in on them inside the paint. And MIkal Bridges, these last two games has been the MIkal Bridges we traded for. This is the MIkal we always wanted. Dominating inside. The mid-range is automatic. He's hitting the three ball extremely well, but even more so, the defense is back. He is hounding players, making sure they can't get any easy shots, hounding players at the three-point line. Out there, he was one of our better defenders. Even though Tom Thibodeau could have made a couple of other adjustments, I thought the Knicks did exactly what they needed to do. They got the victory, and we beat a very defensive-minded Brooklyn Nets team. They may be young, but they were hungry. But the Knicks made sure to take care of business, take this game, and we got the victory. 2 W's. We are 1 victory away before I am happy to say 3 of those things. But we're going to break down tonight's game, exactly how the Knicks won this game. Why the Nets made it so difficult for the Nets, why the Nets made it so difficult for the Knicks to blow out the Nets during this game, and what the Knicks did so well as a team. And spoiler alert, they passed the ball extremely well. We're going to break down all of this and so much more today. If you're not already subscribed to the channel, go ahead and hit that subscribe button now. And make sure you have notifications turned on so you don't miss a second of the new content. And now, let's get started. OG Anunoby destroys Brooklyn. The Knicks win 2 straight. It's been a while, guys, because I have been waiting for consistency from this team, not only on the defensive end, but also in terms of the win column. I feel like every time the Knicks win a game, we either lose a few games, lose 1 game, miss 1 game. We need to find that consistency. Finally, we have it now. 2 games. It may be against Brooklyn. And I know it's the Brooklyn Nets. They don't really have any talent. That fan base really has nothing to cheer for. And that team isn't really going anywhere. But the Knicks still need that chemistry. Still need to build as a team. Still need to get better as a team. And tonight, you saw what it could look like when things start to gel the right way. The ball movement was on par with some of the best ball movement I've seen from the Knicks all season long. They were moving themselves, moving the ball, and OG Anunoby was moving everywhere on the court. Defensively, he was shutting down Brooklyn at each and every turn. He was one of the main reasons that Brooklyn couldn't get any offense going. And there's a main reason for that. The Knicks had a game plan coming into tonight's game, and that was shut down Cam Thomas and make sure he couldn't get anything going. As soon as he touched the ball, he would either get double teamed or he would make sure he would either get double teamed or a heavy defender would be on him, draping over him, so he would never get an easy bucket. Even though during the end of the game, I felt like he was trying to force up shots, force his way inside and get to the paint and try to get to the line. At that point, it was too late because we took him out of the game. And you have to give credit to OG Anunoby for that because he was on him for most of the game. He definitely disrupted everything that Cam Thomas wanted to do on the defensive side of the ball. But here's the thing. Even though OG Anunoby had such a great impact defensively, what he did on offense was absolutely incredible. The Knicks win this game in large part thanks to Wingstop, 114 to 104. And obviously, you see MIkal Bridges on the graphic there. You see OG Anunoby on the graphic there. You want to know why they call him Wingstop? You want to know why these players are given that name? It's because of the level of defense they're supposed to bring to the game each and every time they play. But also, they're supposed to give you some offensive masterpieces as well. And I thought what OG Anunoby and what MIkal Bridges did in these last couple of games was just elite. They were giving you the defense that you wanted. They were giving you the cutting that you wanted. Inside the paint, if MIkal Bridges catches that ball, he is automatic. He is not missing. That's how good he's been. With OG Anunoby, if he's not faking you out with the three, he is driving inside and making sure he's dunking the ball. Or better yet, he is cutting inside, getting the basket and dunking it home. I think he had about 3-4 dunks tonight. Can somebody tell the Brooklyn Nets that OG Anunoby's playing basketball, that he's on the floor, that somebody has to cover him? Because if they don't, he's going to run the entire court. And that's what he did. We're going to get to that slide. OG Anunoby and MIkal Bridges, Wingstop tonight. OG, 24 points, 8 rebounds, 9 of 17 from the field, 3 of 7 from three-point range. And then his partner in crime, MIkal Bridges, 21 points, 6 rebounds, 9 of 18 from the field, 3 of 10 from three-point range. So obviously he has to get better with the three-point shot. That's going to come in time. And when he gets more comfortable with this team, I'm not going to be worried about that at all. What I will say, though, is the first quarter, you saw a cat pass to OG Anunoby. That pass went above Cat's head, and it found OG Anunoby inside the paint. He was cutting, and he made that dunk. And that was basically future sight. It was foreshadowing what was to come. All night long, OG Anunoby was cutting. He was hitting mid-range shots. He was hitting three-point shots. He was making it difficult for the defense to even understand what he was doing. Since the beginning of the season, OG has been aggressive. And that aggressive mentality has not only meant his defense. Offensively, he's been one of the best players for the Knicks this season. He's been the one that if we need a basket, we're passing it to OG. OG's open in the corner, we're passing it to OG. OG's cutting right to the basket, we're going to pass it to him because we're now having the confidence that OG can take over that side of the ball and make the baskets when it matters the most. His patience, again, is still elite. He never rushes. He never pushes the pace unless he has to. He never makes the bucket fast unless he has to. If he doesn't have a shot, what he's going to do is he's going to take the ball outside, pass the ball, and then make himself open for another play. That's what he did in the third quarter with Karl-Anthony Towns. Those two, the way they've been finding each other, the way they've been playing off each other, it's been amazing basketball to watch. Either Towns is finding OG Anunoby or OG Anunoby's finding somebody else down low, cutting inside, whether that be MIkal Bridges, whether that be Jalen Brunson. But each and every time, he is doing something on the right side of the ball. OG has been impressive, and he continues to be impressive. But MIkal Bridges, we all have to be honest. After that trade happened, we all thought to ourselves, the Knicks are a better team. But then we see the play. We see the stagnant offense. We see what MIkal Bridges is doing or the lack thereof, the defense not being where it needs to be. We're all a little bit concerned, but we all said it was early. And I'm glad we said that because MIkal Bridges again tonight, 21 points, 6 rebounds, 9 of 18 from the field. Talk about efficiency. I have to get some water there, guys, because I'm yelling so much, I'm going to lose my voice by the end of the stream. But Wingstop, like Nelly was saying in the chat, is cooking tonight. He was 9 for 18. Now, listen, I know for MIkal Bridges, we think to ourselves, 9 for 18. Maybe that doesn't matter. For a player like MIkal Bridges, who has been struggling with his shot, it absolutely does. The three-point shot will get better. I feel like it will get cleaned up. But everything MIkal Bridges was doing tonight is the MIkal Bridges I want to see each and every single night. Not only because of the way he was playing on defense, but he was so aggressive with his shot. Each and every time he caught the ball, he was making a quick decision. And sometimes that quick decision led him inside the paint. And that helped us so often because the defense was waiting for Towns to do something or for Jalen to do something. When Wingstop is cooking and it takes the pressure off of our stars, our team is even more unstoppable, even more better. So I think that once Jalen Brunson and Karl-Anthony Towns has a great offensive performance along with Wingstop, you're going to see the full capability of this team. We haven't seen it all yet, but soon we are absolutely going to be seeing that. Now, I talked about Wingstop. I talked about OG Anunoby and how badly he dominated the Nets, what he was doing on the defensive end and the offensive end, all the cutting, all the rotations, all the switching, making sure Cam Thomas had the hardest time playing basketball. MIkal Bridges, same exact thing, making it hard on each and every defender he was covering, making sure shots were hard to come by. And when he got the ball, he was being aggressive. The Knicks tonight, the reason we won this game, the reason that it wasn't as close as the last game was, is because the Knicks were moving the ball, they were moving themselves, and they were making sure that they were finding the open man or the open cutter. They were not trying to settle for any type of shots. I felt like the first game against Brooklyn, they were settling for a lot of the threes. This time around, they took what the offense was giving them. And Brooklyn, their defense isn't anything great, although every time they play the Knicks, as do most teams, even bad teams, it's like the defense of those teams gets a little bit better because they know they're playing the Knicks. And the Knicks are a championship contender. So when you think about that and you think about why teams would play the Knicks so hard or so aggressively on defense, you have to remember that. Teams want to play the Knicks. They wake up for these games because they know if they beat the Knicks, everybody in the NBA is going to be talking about it because the Knicks are the hottest thing going right now. That's why teams want to get up for these games, even bad teams. Credit to Brooklyn. They were playing defense. They were trying to do everything in their power to get the ball out of Jalen Brunson's hands. That's why when I show you the next few stats here, not only from Jalen, but from Cat, you'll understand why Brooklyn was doing what they were doing on the defensive side of the ball. Let's take a look at what our stars were doing tonight. Shout out to Jalen Brunson. And also, before I say shout out to Jalen Brunson, shout out to New York Basketball on the app X for giving us the following information. You know I got to give credit to them. They always hook us up with all of this data. Jalen Brunson tonight, as the Knicks give Brooklyn 2 L's. We got the Knicks, we got Jalen Brunson with 12 points, 10 assists, and 2 steals. Now, I know a lot of people are going to kill Jalen Brunson, obviously because of the efficiency, obviously because his shot really just hasn't been there. But can we talk about this for a second? Because I feel like it's going to not be talked about. All a season long, Jalen Brunson has been dealing with double teams. And I'm not talking about double teams that start once he gets into the paint. Now, as soon as he catches the ball, they're double teaming Brunson. You don't believe me? Look at the game tonight. Cam Thomas, or what's the young kid's name off the bench? I forget his name. Zaire Williams. There we go. One of those two were draped over Jalen Brunson at all times. The height difference, the size difference. They were trying to get that ball out of Brunson's hands because they knew if they allowed Brunson to cook, he would cook. What did Brunson do last time? Oh, yeah, he cooked Brooklyn. That's why Brooklyn basically did the exact same thing that we did to Cam Thomas. We froze out Cam Thomas, and they essentially froze out Jalen Brunson. But you can only freeze out Jalen for so much. You're not going to stop Jalen Brunson. Jalen's just too good. Even though he didn't have the scoring touch that we needed him to have, what he was doing was passing that ball. And the biggest credit I'll give to him is what he was doing out of the double teams. Every time he was getting doubled, he would either get credited with the hockey assist, or he would pass the ball to an open player in the corner or to an open cutter, and we would get that basket to go. That level of IQ is improving for Jalen. It's also improving for Karl-Anthony Towns. Each and every time he's doubled, he's finding somebody else. Found OG, found MIkal. He's finding a lot of plays either when they're cutting or they're open in the corner. And I love to see that. We're not forcing it. We're not forcing the offense when we're double teamed and we have a hard shot. Sometimes if the shot clock is going down, we have to do that. Or if the Nets are playing good defense, we're going to have to take a contested shot. Maybe the best of all of the contested shots that the Nets are going to allow us to take. But we're going to have the high level of basketball IQ to do that. But Towns and Brunson together, the way they're playing, the way they're passing out of doubles and reading the defense and making the right plays, that's the credit I'm going to give to them. Even though Karl-Anthony Towns, we can talk about his line. Let's pull it up here. Karl-Anthony Towns tonight, 26 points, 15 rebounds, 6 assists, 10 of 16 from the field. Listen, Karl-Anthony Towns had himself a monster game tonight, and it would have been even better had he not been in foul trouble. And that's been the biggest issue with Karl-Anthony Towns. Honestly, if we want to talk about this seriously, what Karl-Anthony Towns is doing on the offensive side of the ball, joining a new team, still working on chemistry, is absolutely phenomenal. It's incredible. What he's doing on the offensive side, mid-range shot, driving inside, taking contact, free throws, three-point shot. Towns is doing everything. Everything you would want a center to do on offense, Towns is doing on offense. There is really no complaint. I have no complaint for Towns on the offensive side of the ball. The only issue I will always have with Towns, at least for right now, is on the defensive side of the ball. But I will give him credit tonight because it's something that he needs. Defensively tonight, it was a very good effort from Towns. And he always does that. Towns is not a bad defender. I want to make that clear. He's a different defender. He's not a defender we're used to having inside because we're used to seeing Mitchell Robinson inside. We're used to seeing Isaiah Hartenstein inside. We're not used to seeing Towns inside. Even though he gives that defensive effort, you can see other players still go at him. They still attack him. They still try to get a basket over him, euro around him, try to make a basket or a cut around him. The reason they do that is because they know they can do that. Towns does not create or impose that fear into opposing players right now. Not the way that even Ariel Hukporti does. Definitely not the way that Mitchell Robinson does. So we have to remember those things when we're talking about Karl-Anthony Towns. On offense, I am not worried about Towns. I'm actually worried about the league. The league should be worried about Towns on offense because he's not even 100% right now. He's not 100% right now on offense. And he's doing all of this and so much more. Imagine what happens when everything is humming and gelling the right way for New York. What is the offensive capacity going to be for Towns then? What is it going to look like then? Because I think it's going to look pretty unstoppable. One thing we have to mention about Towns is he did go down tonight with a really bad fall. If you saw, I believe it was in the third quarter, probably ending the third quarter there. He went down with a fall. That's when he was holding his lower back. Did not look good. He came up clutching it. He stayed in the game. I don't know why he stayed in the game. I would have not kept him in the game because during that third quarter, the Knicks scored 35 points. 35 points in the third quarter. We were up about, I believe, 15, but obviously Brooklyn fought back. They came back. They made it a close game. So obviously you needed to have Towns back in the game, but I might have rested him just a little bit, just given the way the injury looked. Doesn't really matter now. We're not going to know his status or where that injury is going to put him on, at least for the next couple of, well, not for the next couple of days. We're going to probably find out, if not tonight, tomorrow, because the Knicks have another game back-to-back against the Washington Wizards tomorrow night. So definitely something to watch there. But Towns did hurt his lower back. He was clutching it. During the rest of the game, I think adrenaline kicked in, so he wasn't feeling it. But you know, after the game, something's going to happen. He might feel that in his bones. And if that happens, we're going to have to talk about potentially what that means for Towns later on in the future. But we'll talk about that once we get there. Towns, again, amazing on offense, giving his best effort on defense. But clearly, it's different. The Knicks need to adjust what they're doing interior in terms of the defense inside, because if we fix the paint defense and we're able to defend the perimeter just a little bit better, we're going to be one of the best teams in the league. Even if we fix the perimeter defense and keep the paint defense the same, we'll be probably one of the best teams in the league. That's how bad our perimeter defense is. A little bit more on that in a second, but there's one more player we have to talk about because it wouldn't be right if we didn't talk about this player. We talked about Wingstop. We talked about our stars. We talked about Jalen, why he was struggling. We talked about Karl-Anthony Towns, foul trouble, why he has to avoid that moving forward because that's the biggest issue with Towns right now. He avoids the foul trouble. He can continue to be aggressive for the entire game, and I would love to see how that looks like. The other player we have to talk about, though, is, you know who it is. It's Josh Hart. Come on now. Josh Hart in this game. Where is that? There we go. Josh Hart in this game was absolutely phenomenal, guys. I mean, just incredible. 20 points, 8 rebounds, 8 assists, 8 of 13 from the field. I mean, Josh Hart was incredible. And if you were wondering, when Jalen Brunson is struggling, and you're wondering why we have the record we have, or why we're winning games, or why we're even scoring inside the paint, it's in large part due to Josh Hart and what he means to this team, what he's giving us on the offensive side of the ball. Josh Hart, 20 points inside. I mean, before the season, we were talking about Josh Hart not understanding what his role was, potentially being lost on offense. We all were trolled by that, weren't we? Because Josh Hart was not lost on offense. He was just waiting till the regular season started to turn it up a notch. And that's exactly what he did. He's been a breath of fresh air, a constant threat for a triple-double each and every night. One of the best players on the floor. He does a little bit of everything. You need him to score? Clearly he can score. And the way he's scoring inside and having confidence in his three-point shot, knowing when he's wide open on those Jalen Brunson passes, to make those passes count by making those shots. If you're open, take them, make them. He's been doing that, looking great in that fashion as well, too. Josh Hart has been so clutch for this Knicks team, so clutch for this starting unit. It's the reason why if JB struggles, we can still win games because we'll have a Hart, we'll have an OG, we'll have a MIkal, we'll have a Towns. We didn't have that last year. If Jalen didn't go off last year, we had nobody who could go off. We had a hope and a prayer, a maybe. And if Randall wasn't there, who knows what would happen. Now, we have a multitude of players that can go off if Jalen Brunson is getting double teamed, if other players are stopping him. Josh Hart has now become one of those players. I mean, what he's doing, 20 points, 8 rebounds, 8 assists. We cannot take that lightly. You know, we can scour the league right now and look for players who have that type of stat line. I would guarantee that maybe the star players in the league have that stat line. Not a role player like Josh Hart. Josh Hart, if he is a role player, is a top tier role player. He is the role player that every single team wants their hands on. 28-8. And we didn't even notice it really because we were paying attention to Wingstop. We were paying attention to MIkal Bridges. We were paying attention to Karl-Anthony Towns. Paying attention to all of these other players while Josh Hart is quietly getting 28-8, supporting this team, helping us win games, and making sure that each and every night he leaves everything on the floor. I have no complaints for Josh Hart, and I don't think I ever will. Defensively as well, too. Can we talk about that? Because defensively, Josh Hart was absolutely amazing for this team, doing exactly what I wanted to see this team operate and do. Josh Hart, amazing player tonight. But the minutes, guys. The minutes. James is saying for me to lower my volume in the chat. Tito, if you're, you know what I'm going to do is, because I don't know if Tito is in here, but what I'm going to do is, I'm going to put James on a timeout because there is no way, no how, no way you're going to make me try to silence myself here because the Knicks just beat the Brooklyn Nets, beat your team, James. So you best stay in the live chat, but not comment at all because it's our time right now, not yours. We don't want to hear from Net fans. Y'all just took 2 L's from the Knicks. You should rethink your team, your squad, your strategy, and go ahead and run Thankathon for a little bit and see what number pick you're going to get. That's what you should do. Right now, the winners are talking. We're in the winner's circle here, so you got to excuse me for a second. Going back to winners like Josh Hart, that's why Brooklyn Net fans can't stand him, and really no other fan base can stand him besides the Knicks fan base, because he annoys every other team besides the team you have him on. Josh Hart is a national treasure. I love having him part of this team, and he is one of the main reasons we continue to win games. Another thing we have to talk about, though, guys, is the minutes distribution tonight. I understand Tom Thibodeau went into his bench. We're going to look at exactly what Tom Thibodeau did and all of the great things that Tom Thibodeau did and didn't do tonight. But as you can see here, in terms of, well, sorry, that's the wrong slide. There we go. Sorry for the wrong slide there. As you can see here, James L. Edwards of The Athletic lets us know that the Knicks get back-to-back wins over the Nets. Starters were all pretty good, and we have Washington tomorrow with a chance for the New York Knicks to get their first winning streak of the season. Can't wait for that. But as you see here with the Knicks wings tonight, MIkal Bridges, 44 minutes, played the entire second half. Josh Hart, 46 minutes, played the entire second half. OG Anunoby, 40 minutes. This is absolutely Thibs ball. We know it's Tom Thibodeau ball. There is no ifs, ands, or buts about it. We can understand that. We're not complaining. I'm definitely not going to complain about it. I understand when you win the game and sometimes the game is close, you're going to have to play your key players a lot of minutes. However, playing MIkal, who is Iron Man, and Josh Hart, who played a lot of minutes for us last season, while I understand wanting to keep them in the game because of their impact, what they mean to the game, what they mean for us and our team, we played them the entire second half. Injuries can happen at any time at all. We don't want to risk it or increase the chances by playing our players so many different type of ways. I see we got a spam in the chat. Guys, give me a second. Let me clean up the chat really quickly here. I'm going to put all of his, I got to put all of his particular, all of his accounts on mute. You got to forgive me because James, who is a Nets fan, is trying to troll the chat right now. And he has about 10 YouTube accounts. And he keeps going into the YouTube accounts that he has and tries to troll the chat. So every time I see it, I have to stop, kind of go into it. I wish Tito was here. He was my moderator for the night, but he's not here tonight. So hopefully, if I see it, I'll try to stop it as best as I can. I'm actually going to put the real Django as a moderator as well, too, because he's a member and I do like his takes as well. Okay, so we're muting most of his accounts, guys. Give me a second. Real Django, you're a member and you're now a moderator. So shout out to you. You can now mute any single James chat that you see. So if you see a James thing, you can absolutely feel free to mute him, or you see any Nets thing or bashing, feel free to mute him. You have the power, my friend. Thank you so much for being a member as well, too. But getting back to the game, because we got to talk about this game again. And we're talking about the minutes again. I mean, listen, I understand wanting to win the game and wanting to win the game at all costs. Yuri, you're going to be a moderator as well, too. Give me a second. I want to make you a moderator as well. You got it, Yuri. Both of you guys are mods. All right. I got this guy as well, too. There we go. All right. There we go. Well, it had to be done, guys. It had to be done. I had to stop the trolling. But I got some more moderators in the house. We got Yuri and we got the real Django as moderators. So if you see them in the chat, give them a shout out. Say what's up to them. They are loyal members to the channel. And now they're moderators of the channel as well, too. So thank you, guys. Please let us keep the peace and make sure we stop as much of the Nets trolling as possible. They want to try to get in here. They're trying to fight to get into this post game. You want to know why? Because they don't have a post game. Nobody wants to talk about the Nets. Nobody cares about them. They just care about the real team in New York. And that's the New York Knicks. The New York Knicks. But going back to the minutes as we're talking about here, the minutes, as we said here again, I understand wanting to win the game. But if you want to win the game, then the only thing that you can do here is you have to make sure you play your players the right way. Now, I understand that Tom Thibodeau wants to win each and every game. However, playing your players the entire second half, I just don't know why you would do that. I understand the game was close. We want to win the game at all costs. I get all of that. But we had the rookie, Pacome Dadier. When he was in the game, he was playing very, very good defense. Even though it was for a few minutes and it wasn't for a long time, he was playing good defense, I thought, all the way back in Summer League, all the way back in the preseason. He keeps getting better and better and better on the defensive side of the ball. And we saw Pacome a little bit tonight in terms of how he looks on that end of the ball. And I like that. I like what I saw from him. And if he continues to do that, why not give him some consistent minutes? And if you do that, you can rest some of your starters, give them a break and not have to risk injury. I'm happy we got the win. I'm happy we took care of the Nets, but I'm not happy that we played two starters the entire second half. The Knicks are going to have to clean that up moving forward, because if you keep on doing that to your starters, potentially you could risk injury. Something to watch as we move forward here. Other things to look at here. With Jericho Sims off the bench, he had 18 minutes tonight. Campaign off the bench, 17 minutes tonight. McBride was out tonight, so obviously didn't do anything there. Pacome Dadier, 10 minutes, and then we had DNPs for Matt Ryan, Jacob Toppin, and yes, even incredible Ariel Hukporti did not play tonight, even though he had a strong game against the Brooklyn Nets on Friday. Tyler Kolek also didn't play. So again, we saw another 8-man rotation from Tom Thibodeau. I think we can call this an 8-man rotation because we saw 3 players off the bench play more than 10 minutes, even though Dadier played exactly 10 minutes. I'll give it to Tom Thibodeau at this point in time. This is what we're seeing here, though. We are seeing that Tom Thibodeau is actually going to his bench, even if it's just a little bit, and utilizing them a little bit more in terms of the minutes. So that way the starters don't have to play heavy minutes. But he's not doing it enough. We need him to go to other players on the bench. Hukporti should have definitely played some minutes tonight. Tyler Kolek should have definitely played some minutes tonight. Expand the rotation. Give your starters some time to rest. And that way, maybe we don't have tired legs going into the fourth. This time around, I can understand why he did what he did with the minutes, because the game was a little bit close. The Nets were hitting a lot of threes, especially in that fourth. They were trying to make that game close. But you know what? Even though they tried to make the game close, I think they got it back to around a 4 or 5 point lead. It didn't matter. We continued to dominate them. We built the lead right back up, and we did it because of ball movement. We did it because of defense, and we did it because we kept moving ourselves as well, too. Ball movement really doesn't matter at times if you're stagnant and standing in one place. You have to move yourself. You have to cut to the basket. You have to look for open lanes. And I thought the Knicks, all Knicks players really, were doing that all night long. And even MIkal Bridges was catching the ball inside and shooting it inside. As soon as he caught it, he was not trying to hesitate or wait. So I had to give credit where credit is due here. Every single Knicks player was scoring, was passing, getting rebounds. It was by committee why we dominated tonight. So I love what I saw there. Excuse me for a second. My mouth is completely dry, just completely yelling right now. Give me a second here. Just getting a glass of water here. We're going to go to the shot chart in a second. I think that's sorry for that. Yeah, we're going to go to the shot chart right now and also go to the game stats as well too here. Because like we always do, guys, we go to the game stats and the shot chart normally after each and every game just to get a breakdown of what the Knicks did well, what the Knicks did not do well, and what the Knicks could do just a little bit better during the course of each and every game. Now, the Knicks, again, offensively, 48.9% from the field. So in the mid-range on offense, the Knicks are still a very good team. They're still shooting the ball very well. And the offense is going to get better as the chemistry improves. 3-point percentage, though, for New York is still pretty bad. 32.5% for the Knicks. In comparison, 41.5% for the Brooklyn Nets. If you want to know why the game was even close, why the Nets were coming back into that game in the fourth quarter, but why the Knicks ultimately won that game and built back up their lead, it's because the Nets were trying to hit the three-point shot, and they were hitting the three-point shot. New York still has a perimeter defense problem. Even though we pack the paint and we protect the paint as best as we can with the personnel that we have, our perimeter defense is still pretty poor. I'll give credit, though, to Pacome Dadier and MIkal Bridges. I thought their perimeter defense tonight was very good. And on some occasions, I'll give the credit as well, too, to OG Anunoby. But for the most part, our perimeter defense is pretty bad. It's not great. And when you allow a team like Brooklyn to shoot open threes and make open threes, they're going to get confidence. When they get confidence, they're going to forget they're a bad team. They're going to think they can beat you, and they're going to continue to shoot that shot. And that's exactly what they were doing. 41.5% from three and 42.1% from the field. They nearly shot the same percent from three that they were shooting from the field. That's a problem. The reason that is because most of the three-point shots that they were taking, they were open. And if you're open, you're likely going to take those shots and make those shots because you're an NBA player at the end of the day. Most players practice in an open gym with nobody there and nobody guarding them. And if the Knicks are just going to watch them take shots, what do you think is going to happen? The exact same thing each and every time. And that's what we saw, ladies and gentlemen. Knicks have to fix the three-point defense. If we fix the perimeter defense, we'll start blowing out teams because our paint defense isn't that bad. It's just the perimeter defense. Fix that, New York will blow out teams. Even if the offense isn't great, we'll still probably have a very sizable lead. That's because of what the Knicks can do right now when some of our players are struggling. You saw it tonight. Jalen Brunson didn't have to go off for the Knicks to win. Karl-Anthony Towns, even though he scored a very good game tonight, what did he have tonight? Karl-Anthony Towns, 26, 15, and 6. Towns had a great game tonight, but not a monster game like 35 points or 40 points for us to win the game. That's because we had help from Wingstop. We had help from Josh Hart. Each and every player in that starting unit is capable of giving you 20-plus points on every single night. On any given night, they can do that. That's why New York is so dangerous tonight. Offensively, you saw tonight why New York is a team that a lot of other teams fear. Why our starting five is so dangerous. Defensively, when it all comes together, that's when things start working better. Looking back at the stat sheet here again, too. The Knicks and what they did well again. 33 assists. 33 assists to 31 assists for the Brooklyn Nets. The Knicks were passing the ball, and that's another reason that they won. I mentioned it at the top of the show. I mentioned it even during the time I was talking about Karl-Anthony Towns and Jalen Brunson and what they were doing out of the double teams. Passing out of double teams and finding players open in the corner. Finding players open, either cutting inside or open at the baseline or making a mid-range. They were very good at doing that. And you can see it on the stat sheet here. The assist numbers show it. And more times than not, if the Knicks are passing the ball, when they're passing the ball well, they're winning the game. They're winning the game each and every time. And when you pass the ball well, you rebound the ball well, and you shoot the ball well, you give yourself the best chance to win. Defensively as well, too, when you start manning up your players, you're not helping all the time. That's going to help you, too. Let me say this before I go back to the sheet there. Just got to say it. It's going to grind my gears if I don't. We help way too often on defense. Way too often. We're helping on some players on the Nets that don't need help. Why are we helping on some players that have not made a basket that night or are 1 for 7 or 2 for 8 or whatever it is? Why are we helping? Let that man go right against our one other player. Let's play man-to-man defense at times. We don't have to help each and every time. When we help and we commit strong on that help, it creates an open spot either at the wing or for a cutter, and that gives them an easy basket. And almost all night long, every time we helped, they converted that to an open corner shot. Most of the times, thankfully, they missed just because Brooklyn is a young, bad team. But if it was the Boston Celtics, if it was the Indiana Pacers, if it was another team that had a great three-point shooter in that corner, we would have paid. And that's why I look at it. You look at those things against the bad teams, because if they're there against the bad teams and we still win, they're going to be there against the good teams. And are we going to win if we continue to allow that? No. Help defense is great when you're helping the right way. Towns, for instance, helped MIkal Bridges when he was trying to get beat in transition. And when that happened and he saw it, he came down, blocked the shot, and helped them there. Good help defense. Helping on Watford trying to go inside? No, that is not okay defense. Don't do that, because when you do that, he's going to find the open guy in the corner, and that's going to lead to an open basket. We keep seeing that. The Knicks overcommit on help, and we get caught sleeping each and every time. Then they attack, or whatever the case may be. The defense has to get better there. I'll continue to say it. Transition defense, perimeter defense. I've said it since the beginning of the season, and I'm saying it now. It needs to get better, or we're going to be in trouble. Back to the shot chart here. As you can see, the Nets really tried to do all of their damage on the outside, and that's where they did all of their damage. Look at all of the empty holes inside. Do you see all the empty holes there? Circle, 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 circle. They couldn't hit anything at all. Nothing at all. All of their shots, some of them in the mid-range, a lot of them on the outside. That's how they stayed in this game. That's why they even made it a game and were so close, because of the three-point shot. We take that away, this game is a blowout. The Knicks' largest lead of this game was 15 points. That came in the third quarter. The Knicks, again, having great third quarters. Third quarter, again, this time around, 35 points. First quarter, 30 points. Second quarter, 30 points. We were scoring 30 points on each and every single quarter. It was great to see. Great basketball for New York. We controlled our turnovers as well, too, during this game. We tried to make sure we limited their fast break points and what they did in transition, which I appreciated, but I still see some flaws in the Knicks transition defense. That's something the Knicks still need to work on. We're allowing teams to go to the line extremely too often. The free throws as well, too. It's one stat that I forgot to mention that I'll mention here as well. Another reason why the Nets were so close in this game is because we allowed them to be. We allowed them to go to the line and shoot so many free throws. They did it by attacking inside and getting to the line and shooting those free throws. Credit to them. They made them. But we're allowing them to do that by playing defense with our hands, making sure we're reaching in, tapping them on their wrist, not playing defense the right way. And we're getting caught, we're getting the whistle, and they're going to the line. We have to be better with that. If we clean up what we're doing there and fix the three-point defense, we're going to be a better team just by default. Just by doing those two things, we're a better team. And that's the only two things we would have to do just to be from here to here. That's it. Tom Thibodeau, that's an adjustment I'm looking from him from. Not only from him, the team has to buy in, understand, and know what they're doing out there as well, too. But Tom Thibodeau has to guide it, has to call timeouts when he doesn't see it. I don't care if it's 1 minute in. If you don't see it, call it, because we need to fix it as soon as possible. But that's something else that jumped off the page. Free throws, assist numbers, rebounds, and three-point percentage. All things the Knicks are going to want to control. You control that, that's the key to any game. You'll likely win. It'll likely be a blowout. But if you have trouble in those areas, the whole game's going to be a struggle. Something to look at. But very excited about what I saw tonight. Very happy from what I saw with Wingstop. Wingstop went off. Karl-Anthony Towns went off. Even though he was in foul trouble, I still need him to work on that, because Towns cannot be Towns when he's in foul trouble. Towns cannot be the Towns I want him to be while he's in foul trouble. Because when Towns is in foul trouble, he can't be aggressive. He can't use his body inside, because he doesn't want to do that and risk getting an offensive foul as well, too. He does not want to take those risks and hurt the Knicks in the process. So I like Towns being patient, but he needs to be a little smarter with his hands. Almost for the last 4 games now, he's had about, 4 fouls? 5 fouls? I'm not even sure. I think on the season, he's probably averaging 4.5 fouls. That's not great for your big man, your center, somebody that you're going to need inside. He needs to do better with the fouls. Hopefully he will, because if he does, his offensive game will continue to shine. OG Anunoby continues to be on demon time. Love what I'm seeing from him. Love what I'm seeing from the entire starting unit. I just want to see the bench expand a little bit, be used a little bit more, so our starters don't play as heavy minutes as they did tonight. Love the win, but MIkal Bridges and Josh Hart, play the entire second half, ladies and gentlemen. Something to keep in mind there. But shout out to everybody for the post-game show. Shout out for everybody joining me during this stream. I see you in the chat going off, guys. I appreciate everybody who hit that like button, is a member, subscribe to the channel already. It really does support everything that we're creating for you guys. So thank you guys so much for that. Without further ado, like we always do, jumping right into the chat and getting your takes now. So let's go ahead and do that. We're probably going to do this, I think, for the next maybe 15 minutes or so. Let's do it for 15 minutes or so, see where we're at. Mike Miller says, Mitch just needs to show presence and rim protection. He will take the pressure off of the wings. RA999 says, get rid of Mitch, LOL. So you want zero defense. Nelly Nell. Shout out to Nelly Nell, by the way. Nelly Nell has been a supporter of mine, I don't know, from the beginning, I think, for so long. Let me just say this, by the way. I never get a chance to say this. I always say subscribe, subscribe, subscribe. All the people that are subscribed, all the people in the live chat right now, thank you. Thank you so much. Thank you so much. I don't have a show without you guys. I appreciate it. You guys will never have any idea how much I do. So thank you for guys for that. Another thing as well, too. Let me just mention, well, let me read Nell's comment, though. Mitch just can't stay healthy is the difference. Nell says, LOL, Ariel does what better than Mitch? Wow, we're having a Mitch versus Ariel fight inside the chat now. That's interesting. I'll get to that in a second, actually. Before I do get to that, though, let me read Knicks 100 GM's comment. So, Mitch, we will save a few points a game, and we will also score less. Excuse me. So, what's the point? I'm going to get to those comments in a second. But I do want to, I don't know why that Giannis thing came up there. I do want to mention a couple of notes from the game. So as I do this, I'm just going to have the stats up and I'm going to have the shot chart up because I think it's going to help as I read off some of these notes here that I mentioned, because I just don't want to forget some of the things that I said here. And some of these things are very key. So something to note for the third quarter here. The Knicks defense is still aggressive to start the third. Towns was still aggressive, and I thought OG Anunoby continued to look like the best player on the court. We have to give OG Anunoby his kudos and his flowers. He's doing very well. Cat continues to find cutters to the rim, more without the ball. He found cutters without the rim, move without the ball, and good things are going to happen. Jalen Brunson made his first bucket in that third quarter as well, too. We have to remember that, but he was being doubled all night long. So something to think about there. We have to be smarter, still guarding the three. I thought in that third quarter, we allowed too many open threes. Even though they didn't score too many points, they still scored enough that it bothered me. And I felt like if you played better defense, that would have never happened. Ball movement and moving yourself will be good things for the Knicks and good things for this for this franchise. Easier baskets, and that's why the Knicks are always consistently leading when they're doing that. You see it right there. 33 assists. Move without the ball. Move the ball yourself, and you're going to win games. We saw that as well. The Knicks make sure that the Nets went to the line a lot in that fourth. The only reason the Nets probably didn't tie the game, as you can see there, they missed 7 free throws. 7 free throws. And they lost by 10. If they made all their free throws, it would have been a 3-point game. And maybe they have more confidence at the end of that game to try to put up a shot. That's something that the Knicks have to think about and consider moving forward here. We did not have to give them that confidence, but when you go to the line, consistently go to the line like that, and you think you're going to make the bucket, or you're going to go inside and get to the paint and create contact, or you're going to be open from three, you're going to get that confidence, ladies and gentlemen, and that's what they had. Something to think about because they're a bad team. Thankfully, you play another bad team tomorrow in Washington, so hopefully we can win, because I got to say 3 of them things. I've been waiting all season to say 3 of them things. It's been a while. It really has been. Let's go here. Mike Miller says, injuries are part of the game. I'm a Knicks fan. If Mitch can stay healthy, we should not want an unhealthy Mitch. We might get lucky and Mitch comes back and helps us make the big playoff run. Okay, let me answer that Mitch thing. Before I do that, though, Django wants to know the turnovers. Turnovers tonight for the Knicks. It's Knicks with 8 turnovers and the Nets with 9. So we did a really good job with the ball turnovers there. Mike, though, going back to your question, just want to go back to you there. When it comes to Mitchell Robinson, let me say this. Mitchell Robinson, and when he returns, I think that he could have an impact if he plays with Towns and if they do a double big lineup. Even if he's the backup center off the bench, I think he's going to have an impact. My only concern with Mitch is what my always concern is going to be, it's health. What does health look like? I can't answer that question with Mitch a lot of the time, but very good comment there. With the comments, I've been talking to you guys in DMs and things like that. You want me to go through the comments a little bit faster, so I'm getting through more of them. So I heard that, and I'm going to try to do that as much as I possibly can. Let's see here. Knicks 100 says, Mitch and Precious can get us some of them picks back. I don't think so, man. Mitchell Robinson, he's not worth anything. I don't think so. Nelly Nell says, in the playoffs, who gives us the best rim protection and second chance points? In the playoffs? When fully healthy? Mitchell Robinson. Absolutely. I mean, he's the best offensive rebounder in the game when fully healthy. So I think we have to say it. The stats would back that up. Mike Miller says, Huck is going to be a great player, and we need to continue to develop him. But a championship is rarely won with a rookie center. That's true. That's history would say that. But if we're talking about situational, isn't right now situational? Shouldn't we be playing him now? We need to. Look what we're doing all the minutes. I'm just saying. Mike Miller said, no, Nelly Nell says, again, Mitch is in rehab, not injured. That's correct. That's apt. A lot of people get that wrong. Mitch doesn't have another re-injury. He's not re-injured. The Knicks are just bringing him along very slowly because they don't want him to go through another injury down the road at some point in time. It's a good way to bring back a big man with so many injuries, actually, but it's not a foolproof way of ensuring that he has no injury. So something to think about there. Yuri says, are we really going to not count Mitch holding Embiid back when he didn't get injured? A lot of people don't consider that because Embiid, while injured, was still going off. We got to remember, there are a couple of plays, you guys are right. There are a couple of plays that Mitchell Robinson did stop him, did bother him, did frustrate him. You're not wrong. But, I mean, look at his points during that series. And he was injured and still giving you those points. So, I mean, yeah, Mitchell Robinson stopped him. But stopped him to what extent? Can't really stop Embiid that much. He was still giving you 30-plus points. It was difficult to stop Embiid. He did good during some defensive plays, but I could make the argument on other plays on defense, he was able to make Embiid go to the line. So if we're going to talk about one side, we're going to have to talk about the other. I watched that series just like everybody else did. Let's see here. Beautiful 7 says, Thibs must be in love with Sims. Listen, man, I don't know. Sims had a good night, though. It's hard to fault him. Did he have a terrible night? Was he horrible tonight? He did a couple good things. Had a good block. A good dunk from Josh Hart with the assist, right? That was a good lob. So I liked seeing that. Little good defense here and there. Obviously, I thought sometimes the defense wasn't great. Sometimes a little shaky, but not bad from Sims. Not bad. I can understand why Tom Thibodeau played him. I just still can't understand why Hukporti refuses to get any minutes. I don't know if it's a rookie thing or I have no idea. No idea at all. Nelly Nell says, Precious had the block on Embiid. I remember that during that series, actually. Listen, leave Sims alone tonight. Man deserves it. I'm not trying to bother him, Yuri. I'm really not trying to bother him. Trust me, I agree. I think Sims had a pretty good night. I'm not going to go off the deep end and say he had a great night, but he had a pretty good night. And defensively, I saw some things there. Could he do better? Absolutely, I think he could. And I think he will do better moving forward in the future. But as of right now, it was good. That's all I'll say. It was good. It was good defense. The real Django. I think Thibs is setting up Sims to be traded, as in giving him more playing time now before the February trading deadline. You know what? I'm not even going to... I wish I could screenshot this, but I can't because it's in a private chat. But I told one of my buddies I was watching the show with, and I told him, I said, what if this is a ploy from Tom Thibodeau to build up Sims' value to trade him later at the trade deadline and then unlock Hukporti at that point? Listen, I don't know. It could be. It could be a plan. I don't know. Tom Thibodeau, Leon Rose, they always are thinking about the future moves, but it'd be a long shot because we're talking about Jericho Sims. He played 9 minutes the other night. Hard to build value when you play 9 minutes. I mean, tonight was an outlier, honestly. I think if Deuce McBride was there, maybe he doesn't play all those minutes. If Cat's not in foul trouble, maybe he doesn't play all those minutes. Something to think about. Let's see here. Knicks 100 says, Sims came in with 7 minutes left and Nets never took the lead. Nelly Nell is giving us some looking emojis. Hukporti says, no, Knicks 100 says, Hukporti loses the lead for us every time. Y'all do realize this. Listen. Knicks 100 GM. You and I have a very contentious relationship, right? Because, listen, I respect you, and I like to think you respect me. But our opinions differ, right? They differ a lot. Who was in the fourth quarter during the game when we won the game? Because I'm going to say the momentum plays that Hukporti is giving the Knicks, that matters a lot. The aggression on offense matters a lot. And let me tell you something. During that game on Friday, Jericho Sims was not dunking that ball. He was passing that ball before. Jericho Sims dunking that ball for me is actually very surprising because most of the time he doesn't look for the offense. That's the biggest problem I have with Jericho Sims. You know I'm right with that because you watch the same thing as I do. With Hukporti, he is still young, of course. Is he making mistakes? Of course. Nobody said Hukporti is perfect, but his aggression on both sides of the floor is what you want to see developed and flourish. That's what I want to see. Knicks 100 GM says, no, Yuri, it's not James. It's not James at all. It's not. Knicks 100 is somebody that I actually very, very much respect. He just has a very different opinion. But it's okay. He can have a different opinion. I like different opinions. First Nets game, what happened? Hukporti gave up the lead, didn't he? Listen. I'm not saying we gave up the lead, but if you're going to put that only on Hukporti, are we going to talk about the defensive lapses that Tyler Kolek had during the second? Are we going to put that on the defensive lapses that Pacome Dadier had during those times? Because it's not like he was the only person missing his man on defense. If anything, look at the way he was switching and rotating. He was trying to switch and rotate for anybody who was cutting. So I think we have to be a little bit more fair here when we come to Ariel Hukporti. Listen, I haven't criticized Sims a lot tonight. Almost at all. I've kept it 100% with him. I told you exactly what he played, his impact, what he did. No hurt, no foul. But when it comes to Hukporti, I think you have to be fair when it comes to him as well, too. I think his impact, what we've seen, it can't be understated, man. It really can't. Beautiful 7 says, the good news is we all love the Knicks. That's for sure. That's definitely for sure. The Meow of Wisdom says, can the Knicks run a lineup with Hukporti and Cat on the floor, similar to how he played with Rudy Gobert? I think the Knicks can do it. The question is, will they do it? I don't know if they will do it. I think the Knicks had an opportunity to do it multiple times, but they chose not to. Maybe that's because they like one center at a time on the floor so it doesn't clog up the paint. So that way Towns has the ability to either do what he's doing now. Drive, shoot the three, fake the three, still drive, shoot the mid-range, attack inside. I mean, nobody's in there, so it's really him deciding and dictating what he really wants to do. So maybe the advantages is why we don't see the double big lineup yet, but I think defensive issues are probably why we'll see it at some point. I'm not saying start with it, but at some point I think you'll see it. Let's see here. Knicks 100 says, and we barely won. That's the part y'all missing. He didn't play tonight versus same team, and we never trailed in the second half. We don't know if that was going to be the case, though, if he did play. It's not like if we gave him 9 minutes out of Jericho Sims 18 minutes that the lead would have went down or went away. If anything, while Sims was in the game, didn't the lead get cut down? When we were up 15, when he was in the game, didn't the lead go down to like 3, 4, 5 points maybe? So I could make the argument that the lead went down when Jericho Sims went in. I'm not going to say that, obviously, but I could make that argument. but it's not only on Sims, just like it would not only be on Hukporti. We have a problem with team defense. Team defense has been an issue. It's not like we fixed it magically. We're not fixing it in a day. Team defense is a lot to do with chemistry as well, too. You have to work on that daily. It's not going to get fixed right away. I'm not expecting it to get fixed right away, but I am expecting it to get better each and every game. And I thought the defense tonight, at least during certain parts, was a lot better. But perimeter and transition defense continue to be a problem. And I'll say it till I'm blue in the face. We need to do something about it. And hopefully the Knicks do have the ability to actually get that done. A couple more comments here. If you guys want me to continue this, let me know. I was going to go till 11, but it seems like we still have people in here who want to chat. So I'm going to continue. Go to your comments, see what you guys have to say. Maybe I'll push it to like 11:15. We'll see what you guys want to do there. Nelly Nell says, Troy, do you remember when Mitch used to get into early foul trouble but improved over time? Absolutely. That was before Tom Thibodeau. That was the David Fizdale days. Even before him, Jeff Hornacek. We all remember Mitchell Robinson not being able to really do anything that we wanted him to do, right? I thought Mitchell Robinson was great on defense but continued to foul out. And it wasn't until Tom Thibodeau was here that he instilled in him that level of defense to say, listen, play defense this way so you don't get those calls. I think if you're looking to say that maybe the same thing can happen with Towns, the only pushback I'll have with that is he already did this with Tom Thibodeau when he was a rookie, way, way, way before. So if he didn't do it then, or he's not really doing it now, and he didn't really do it then, it's hard to see why he would do it now, why he would alter his game, because you got to figure what he's doing on the offensive side of the ball right now is legendary nearly. I can't think of the last time I saw a Knicks center do what Towns is doing right now. It's pretty phenomenal. JJ47K says, maybe Hukporti and Sims aren't as good as Mitch is on defense, and that's why they're not being used. I don't know. I think Hukporti showed enough to get consistent minutes. Am I wrong there? Does nobody agree? Does nobody think that Hukporti did enough to get consistent minutes at this point? At least 9 minutes, 10 minutes a game? Because I think we've at least seen enough Hukporti to know he can at least get that. So just something for me to see there. The real Django, shout out to you, my brother. He says, chill, Knicks 100. Arguing about the same thing over and over and over again will just flame the chat out. He says, Knicks 100, though, says, I understand what Sims does. Most don't, but I do. Knicks 100, listen, bro, I understand. I understand you are going for Sims right now because maybe a lot of people are underestimating him for you. I get it. We can have that conversation. But right now, with Jericho Sims, it's hard to cap when you're capping on this type of performance for Sims. He's not done anything worth capping for. Was he good? Did he give effort? Did he do okay? Yeah. Is that where we are now, though? Is that what we want to say? He wasn't bad. He was decent. We didn't lose the lead. Like, this is what we want to say? We don't want to talk about, oh, my goodness. You see that block shot? Oh, my goodness. You see that lockdown defense? I like to say that. And my standards have not gone that low where I'll be okay with somebody just doing the bare minimum or doing a good enough effort. I want to see more. And I think Knicks fans are perfectly within their right to criticize it if it exists. Just my opinion on the matter. Huckamania is going to run wild. Hey, listen, guys. First of all, for my members, I'm going to be dropping a very special graphic for you guys. Free use, whatever you want to use it. I'm not going to post it on social media. It's going to be a free graphic to the entire membership. So if you're a member of this channel, when you wake up tomorrow, I'm not even sure. I'll schedule it probably. But when you wake up tomorrow, you're going to see a very exclusive graphic for yourself. Use it on social media, wherever you want to go. If you do use it, just be sure to hashtag the Knicks Recap, the fact that you're a member and where you got it from. That's all I ask for. But there's going to be a lot of those graphics coming out now. I'm going to be giving you guys a lot more exclusives when it comes to that. Because I think you guys saw the Wingstop graphic there. I made that one. I've been creating a lot of different graphics for the community for a while now. And you guys already know I love when the Knicks beat the Nets. But I also love when I can very much so praise my guys. When MIkal Bridges wasn't a Knick, I wanted him to be a Knick. And everybody told me, why would you want him to be a Knick, Troy? Why would you want him to be a Knick? It doesn't make sense. Don't make him a Knick, Troy. I said he was the perfect fit. Everybody ridiculed me. I can go back to the comments a couple of days ago. What happened, bro? What happened, bro? MIkal Bridges isn't him, bro. Talk to your man, Leon Rose. They've been real quiet. They've been real quiet the last couple of days. They've not said anything. It's hard to say anything when 21-6, 9 of 18 is looking right at you. It's hard. It's hard to talk about Wingstop when they're dominating like that. It's hard. Remember how they try to criticize OG Anunoby for his offense? He needs to be more aggressive on offense. And OG Anunoby is dominating everyone. But keep talking. Keep on talking, because I love to hear it. Wingstop is currently closed. You want to know why? Because they gave out enough freebies tonight. Destroyed the Nets. So beautiful to watch. So beautiful. JMO says, salute Troy. Salute my brother. Appreciate you. Wait, is Knicks 100 a GM really Jericho Sims? If I ever find out he's Jericho Sims, I'm going to lose my mind. Shout out to you, Jericho, if you're watching, by the way. No hate in my bones. Just saying the truth. Just saying, though. Real Django says, Wingstop has thighs. Beautiful 7 says, OG is a beast. The most improved player, the most improved Knick. Nelly Nell says, talk your talk. I'ma keep talking my talk. Every single time I turn around, they want to try to come at me. MIkal Bridges isn't him. Leon Rose made the bad moves. We're not the greatest team in the world until it works, right? Until everything looks good, right? And then those same people, I can't find them. You can go looking for them, not going to find them. You can look in the comments, not going to find them. I guarantee you can go to the Hawks post game I did, and I guarantee you will not find any one of those guys who commented on that video over here. Can't do that. Can't comment on Wingstop, because Wingstop is stopping you know what. And I might have to use that on the social media. Can't use that on YouTube. Don't want to get demonetized, but you know what I'm saying. I've also got a DM from they want to be anonymous, so I'll keep them anonymous. Recap. Like the way you are on lives with the chat. You're more yourself, and I appreciate that. Appreciate you, anonymous. I like to be more myself on the live just because, I don't know, it's easier to do this when it's a reaction. You know, it's not news. I'm not breaking anything down for you or breaking things down in segments or things like that. So it's easier for me to give you my raw reaction, what I like, what I don't like, what things jumped off the page for me, all those things. It's easier. And it's easier to talk to you guys when there's a direct chat involved. So I don't know. I appreciate you guys if you do like it, though. Thank you. Carl Knight says, good win tonight, but playing Hart, Bridges, and OG 40-plus minutes tonight is insane. That is insane. I talked about it, man. Listen, Josh Hart, 46 minutes. MIkal Bridges, 44 minutes. OG Anunoby, 40 minutes. I mean, what the? That's crazy, man. I like we got the win. And tonight, I can even understand why he did it, because the game was close. However, MIkal and Josh played the entire second half. Got a bench for a reason. Need to use it. We were up 15 at some points during the third. Still didn't really use our bench. Tom Thibodeau needs to be checked at some point. And I'm just saying, I'm not saying to fire him. I'm not saying he has to go. I've been saying two things for Tom Thibodeau. Minutes adjustments and overall general adjustments. That's it. I've not done anything else. You've not heard any other Tom Thibodeau take from me, and you're not going to. I see a lot of fired Thibs in my comments. A lot of people don't like Tom Thibodeau right now. They want him to be fired. I don't know if I should say this. Maybe I should. I have it under good authority that Tom Thibodeau will live out the contract as the Knicks head coach. Do with that whatever you will, but I have it on good authority that that's the case. I'm talking about regardless. regardless, that's going to be the case. That's what I'm saying. But you do with that what you will. Let's see here. Mike Miller says Hukporti is faster. He is. He is faster. He is faster. Healthier too. Younger. The Meow of Wisdom says the Manhattan Hulk is a nickname I had for Hukporti due to his aggression. Not a bad nickname. Did you guys like Huckamania? I like Huckamania. Huckamania is running wild. Ooh, yeah, brother. No? Not? All right, well, I tried it, you know. Note to self. You are too old to do brother in that voice. I nearly lost my entire voice just now trying to do Hulk Hogan. So instead of trying to do Hulk Hogan, I'm just going to say it now. Hulkamania is running wild. Absolutely. I think by tomorrow, I'm going to have a graphic on the timeline for Hukporti, acknowledging him and basically advocating for the man to get more minutes because I think he deserves it. But let's keep that going. Let's see here. The Real Django says, let's get those likes up, everyone. 49 people in here, but only 36 likes. Yes, please smash the like button. Subscribe to the channel if you can, if you're not already a subscriber. And if you want to too, you can also become a member to the channel. Not only can you donate to help the show, that really helps. You'll be entered automatically for giveaways. And as you see with the Real Django, as you see with Yuri, as you see with Tony, all of those guys are members, but they're also moderators. Excuse me, they're also moderators as well too. You see the little moderation icon near their chat bot. Make sure when you see them in the chat, you give them that praise, you give them that acknowledgement, you say what's up to them, because again, they're part of the show just as much as I am, and they're helping to make sure no trolls are in the chat like we saw earlier in the show. Let's see here. We got Tony in the house, my guy Tony. Salute to you, brother. Another member in the house, another moderator in the house. Really appreciate that. Carl Knight says also, can we add Josh Hart to the Wingstop party? I mean, at this point, we might have to. We might have to. 28-8? 28-8? I mean, look what these guys did. 24-8, 21-6. That's MIkal. That's OG. 28-8. Yeah, add him to Wingstop. Carl, add him to Wingstop. Do it. At this point, why not? Why not? It's Wingstop. I'll have to update this at some point. I got to put Josh Hart right in the middle. Maybe his face on the Wingstop logo. I don't know. We'll figure it out, but yeah, he needs to be included here because it's ridiculous. There's no way anymore. How can you deny him now? How could you deny him now? Josh Hart, one of the best players on the floor. He's becoming slowly one of my favorite players to watch. He just does everything. He does everything. Hustles, rebounds, play makes, scores, one-man fast break. He's even giving you the three-point shooting now. What else do you want from Hart? I don't need anything else. Don't need a thing. Nelly Nell says, Wingstop, Hart is the sauce. Oh, that's really good, actually, because the sauce sometimes is considered the heart of the entire tray. Ah, see what you did there, Nelly. Okay. I got a smart community on my hands. Appreciate it. Thank you. Mike Miller says, let the team get healthy and Thibs work. I want to see the team get healthy, but I'm also concerned with that as well, too. Because if the team gets healthy, will we still get limited to a 9-man rotation? If we get limited to a 9-man rotation, somebody that we like is going to lose out here. I'm very curious to see what's going to happen there. It is important. Let's see. What other comments do we have here? Got a lot of comments from the moderators. I appreciate everybody in here. We got thumbs up from Nelly Nell. Definitely shout out to the chat. I shout out to everybody who's watching right now, everybody who's contributed, everybody who's either made a comment on the live stream, made a comment in the live chat, or if you're watching the playback, appreciate you as well, too, making a comment on the open section there as well, too. Thank you guys so much. We're going to take maybe 2 more comments, and then we are done for tonight's post-game show. I'm going to try to get a video edited and posted for tomorrow, maybe in the morning. Try to get that one out. I have another video I got to do after that as well for you guys. New information just came out. Yes, it is about a trade That's all I'm going to say. I'm not going to say any more. Not about the Knicks, not about the Knicks making a trade. I'm not saying that. It's just about a trade, something that the Knicks potentially may be doing if something continues to happen. So we will talk about that a little bit later on, likely tomorrow afternoon, but watch for tomorrow morning's opening video. That will be coming out. Couple more comments here. Tony says, Troy, we are a scary team. Let us gel and you will see. I see it already. I just can't wait to see more. I just want to see more. Jersey Shore with the thumbs up. Hey, I appreciate you. Thank you so much. Thank you for all the love and support. And blessings to everybody in the chat. I think we're good here. So I think that's really going to do it. I appreciate all the love, all the support, all the emojis, all the great moderators that I have in the chat, all the great members that I have on the channel. The Troy, that guy that I am today, Troy, Recap, whatever you want to call me, I don't exist without you guys. Without the support, without you guys rolling with me and rocking with me each and every day, there's no me. So I thank you guys not only for holding it down, but for supporting me each and every night and making it a pleasure to not only host post games, but converse with the chat afterwards. I love talking to you guys. I love the community that we've built, and I want to continue to grow it and get even stronger. If you're not a member of the channel already, but you are a subscriber and you're wondering, how do I get that cool star next to my name too? All you got to do is hit the join button. You'll see it right there. If you're already a subscriber, it will basically replace the subscribe button. You hit that join button, and then you get to choose from a tier of where you want to be as a member of the channel. Once you do that, you become a member, and automatically you get entered in for a chance for giveaways. And everybody as a member already knows, we run giveaways on this channel each and every single month. So you'll be able to win something. All you have to do is just be a member, support, and you always get priority in terms of your comments in the live chat, comments with my special guests. And if I see comments during the time when I drop videos, because we get a lot of comments on the videos, I always go to the members or the subscribers first. So I always make sure to give those guys priorities. If you want to make sure you get priority with everything, make sure you're a member as well too. But thank you guys so much for joining tonight's post game. As you see here, the Knicks got the victory over the Nets, 114-104, in large part due to Wingstop. MIkal Bridges and OG Anunoby were just phenomenal tonight. And if we continue to get this type of level of play from OG and MIkal, we are going to be a force, not only in the Eastern Conference, but the entire NBA. That level of defense, that aggression on offense, MIkal Bridges' mid-range shot being near automatic, OG Anunoby cutting, dunking, doing whatever he wants. And then sometimes our stars go off, sometimes our stars don't, but we still have enough talent on this roster to score and get the victory. This is what I've been waiting for. This is what I wanted to see. And this is what we traded for. You see a very small glimpse of it tonight. Once the offense gels and the chemistry starts to flourish and we get that defense right, the team that I was talking about all offseason long, that I said we were going to be a problem, that you had to worry about, you're going to see that team absolutely. You're going to see that team absolutely once the defense and all of those things come together. It's only a matter of time now. I want to go to the real Django real quick because he gave us a super chat, so I got to go to that. The real Django says, let's go Knicks, and he gave us a $4.99 super chat. You can do that, by the way, by hitting the little heart button with the money symbol in it. You can donate to the show in the process and get your comment highlighted like this and also read aloud on the show. I try to get to all the comments, whether you do a super chat or not, but if you do a super chat, your comment is prioritized, and I always try to get to it. He's not only a member, he's not only a moderator, but he was one of my first subscribers on this channel. The real Django is a real one. If you see him in the chat, if you see him anywhere, make sure you give him a lot of love, and you make sure you give him a lot of likes on that comment as well too, because he's a real one, let me tell you. But again, guys, thank you guys so much for joining the post-game show. I cannot wait to see what Wingstop does again when we face the Washington Wizards tomorrow night. Because I feel like if we can correct the issues that we saw tonight against the Nets and we can clean those things up, we are headed for a blowout victory against the Washington Wizards. We have the talent on this team to go all the way to the NBA Finals. Let the defense and the offense start coming together and gel. As soon as it happens, nobody's stopping the Knicks. The only team that can really stop us at that point is ourselves. And under head coach Tom Thibodeau, that's not going to happen. But what about you guys? What did you think about today's episode? And did you enjoy the game against the Nets? Did you like what the Knicks did against the Nets? Did you like the way we were leading in that third quarter? What were some of your favorite moments from tonight's game? What didn't you like? Let me know in the comment section below, guys, because honestly, I would love to hear from you. But that's going to do it for today's episode. And if you enjoyed it, please go ahead and smash that like button, leave a comment below. And of course, guys, please subscribe to the channel. Until next time, Knick friends, take care of yourself, your families, and each other. Peace and love.